The war in Ukraine has brought immense suffering and instability to the region. Achieving a lasting peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine has proven incredibly difficult. The conflict is marked by deep mistrust, conflicting objectives, and the involvement of global powers. Numerous attempts at ceasefires have failed. Both sides remain entrenched in their positions. The conflict is rooted in historical grievances, geopolitical tensions, and a struggle for control over territory and resources. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 escalated the conflict dramatically. Finding a peaceful resolution requires addressing the core issues dividing the two nations. This includes addressing Russia's security concerns, Ukraine's desire for sovereignty, and the complex territorial disputes that have fueled the conflict. The path to peace is further complicated by the involvement of external actors. The United States, the European Union, and NATO have all provided support to Ukraine. They have also imposed sanctions on Russia. This external involvement has had a significant impact on the conflict's trajectory. It has made finding a negotiated settlement even more challenging. The human cost of the conflict cannot be overstated. Millions of Ukrainians have been displaced from their homes. Thousands of civilians have lost their lives. The war has also had a devastating impact on Ukraine's economy and infrastructure. Achieving a just and lasting peace is essential to ending the suffering and rebuilding Ukraine. One of the main obstacles to peace is the nature of Russia's demands. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has laid out a series of conditions for a ceasefire. These demands have been met with resistance from Ukraine and its Western allies. Putin insists that Ukraine must remain neutral. This means Ukraine cannot join NATO. Putin's demands extend beyond Ukraine's neutrality. He also demands recognition of Crimea as Russian territory. Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. This annexation is not recognized by the international community. Additionally, Putin insists on the demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. These terms are widely seen as pretexts for regime change in Kiev. Putin has also called for a halt to all military aid to Ukraine. He wants the West to stop supplying Ukraine with weapons and intelligence. This demand is unacceptable to Ukraine's allies. They argue that Ukraine has the right to defend itself. The West maintains that Russia is the aggressor in this conflict. These demands reflect Russia's desire to maintain control over Ukraine. They also reveal Russia's aim to limit Western influence in the region. Putin's conditions have been widely condemned as unreasonable and unrealistic. They have made it extremely difficult to find common ground for negotiations. Ukraine, on the other hand, prioritizes its own security and territorial integrity. Ukrainians are determined to resist Russian aggression and maintain their independence. The Ukrainian government has made it clear that it will not negotiate under duress. Ukraine insists on its right to determine its own future. Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has called for a complete withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukrainian territory. This includes Crimea and the Donbas region. Zelensky has also stressed the need for concrete security guarantees from the international community. Ukrainians want assurances that Russia will not be able to attack them again in the future. Ukraine has shown a willingness to engage in negotiations. However, they refuse to accept any agreement that compromises their sovereignty or territorial integrity. This stance has garnered widespread international support. Many countries view Russia's actions as a blatant violation of international law. They are committed to upholding Ukraine's right to self-determination. The issue of territorial concessions is particularly sensitive. While there have been suggestions of a Korean solution involving a partition of Ukraine, this idea is deeply unpopular among Ukrainians. They argue that they should not be forced to cede land to an aggressor. Ukraine's insistence on its territorial integrity remains a major sticking point in any peace negotiations. The international community has played a significant role in the conflict, providing military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine while imposing sanctions on Russia. The United States, the European Union, and individual countries have all made substantial contributions to Ukraine's defense efforts. This support has been crucial in enabling Ukraine to resist Russia's invasion. The West has also imposed unprecedented sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy, financial institutions, and key individuals. These sanctions are intended to pressure Russia to end the war and come to the negotiating table. However, their effectiveness in altering Russia's behavior remains a subject of debate. The involvement of external actors has also complicated the peace process. Russia has accused the West of waging a proxy war against it in Ukraine. Russia sees Western military support for Ukraine as a direct threat to its own security. This perception has heightened tensions and made it more difficult to find common ground. Achieving a lasting peace in Ukraine will require a multifaceted approach that addresses the complex political, security, and humanitarian dimensions of the conflict. Building trust between the parties is essential, so is addressing Russia's legitimate security concerns while upholding Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Finding a solution that satisfies all parties will require creativity, compromise, and a long-term commitment to peacebuilding. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates.